What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name's Joe. If you are new here, please consider hitting that subscribe button and ringing the bell to turn on your notifications to keep up to date with all kinds of bodybuilding content right here on the channel. You've seen the thumbnail, you've seen the title, you know what it is. We're back with another video in the prep series. 5 weeks out now from the PCA Naturals in Wolverhampton. Things are starting to get a little serious. Just sent my check-in off for the day. I will throw up a couple of photos on screen so you can see what I look like. Again, feeling very, very happy with the look this week. Weight has hit a new low, but a very, very slight new low. I think it was like point something of a pound, like not even a whole pound. But we did have those two very, very high carb days at the beginning of the week. 5,000 calories each, 800 grams of carbs. It was mental. So the fact that I've still managed to hit a new low, even with those 2 days at the front of the week, says that my body is very much in fat burning mode. Now, I do feel like those carbs have pretty much left my system at this point. We're a week removed from those 2 days, so the glycogen stores are dipping again. Energy's starting to take a little bit of a dip again, but nothing major. Spirits are still high, and today we're heading in for a chest workout. Very excited for this. For the past couple of weeks, I've actually been increasing numbers on my chest workout somehow, so fingers crossed we get another one of those days today. Cardio sadly has been increased by another 10 minutes. We are now doing 50 minutes every day on the Stairmaster. It's horrific. The first day that I did it, I went hypo really bad. Had to take a little break at about 30 minutes, have a banana, and jump back in for the remaining 20. But hey, if that's what it takes, that's what I'm gonna do. No additional food changes this week. We're just gonna go with normal protocols straight through the week, try and get another really good week of fat loss in, because next week is going to be something very interesting. My coach is planning to have me do a trial peak next week at 4 weeks out. Now, we did the kind of trial carb load last week. What we're going to do this time is the entire peak. So we'll do a couple of days of depletion, a couple of days of water loading, and then probably a day or two of cutting a bit of water and increasing the carbs and seeing how it affects my body. The depletion days are going to suck, but I am really, really curious to see how my body's going to respond to it, how I look at this point in the prep, and it makes me really excited because even after we've done that, I've still got 4 weeks to go to get even leaner and closer to that stage condition. But that's enough talking from me for now. I've just had my meal, so I'm gonna whack on my coat and get to the gym. All right, guys, you know the drill. We're starting off with some cable crossovers to get a little bit of pre-exhaustion into the pecs before we then move on to our heavy pressing stuff. Just 2 sets here of 12 to 15. I usually use the other cables, but they were busy today, so we used these ones. These are definitely heavier than I'm used to, so it was a little bit more of an intense pre-exhaustion than I was expecting. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to complain about a couple of hard sets. After the cable crossovers, we're going to move on to a flat dumbbell press. Again, 2 sets here, really just of as many as I can get, but we're aiming between 8 to 12. Today with the 42.5 kilo dumbbells, I got a set of 9 and a set of 8. Very, very happy with that. Managed to match last week's reps, which is awesome, as at this point in prep, we are trying to maintain strength as much as possible. With the dumbbell press out of the way, we are now moving on to the Panata incline press. This is where I did notice my strength was taking a little bit of a dip today. 6 reps on 2.5 plates, which is down from 7 last week, so I decided to back off a little bit for my second set to try and get a bit more volume in. Final pressing movement then, we're going with a pin-loaded flat press. Usually I would go for the isolateral plate-loaded press, but it was busy today and I just didn't feel like waiting around. I was getting a good session in, so we went with this one. 2 sets here of 10 to 12, had a really good connection, and I think I'm probably going to keep this one in going forward. All right, time for the last chest exercise of the workout, pec deck fly. Here, you know, we're just focusing on getting that really deep stretch, really burning out the muscle. We're going for 3 sets of 12 to 15 to get that volume in right at the end and just give the chest one last blast to finish it off. As always, I like to finish off my chest session with a bit of calves. I like to hit these twice a week, and putting them after chest is just the place where it makes the most sense for me with my current split. We're going 2 sets here, very heavy, very high rep. We're looking for 15 to 20 reps here. Let's go. Alright guys, that is going to do it. We are back from the gym. It was a good session. My strength, I could tell, was taking a tiny little dip, but we are 5 weeks out now. And you know, those carbs are gone from my system, as I mentioned earlier in the video. So we are back to a very depleted state. And as I also mentioned, my strength has actually been climbing for the past few weeks in my chest sessions. So I'm not too stressed about the fact that there's a tiniest of dips in strength today. And actually, to be fair, when I think about it, it's really only on the Panata incline press that I actually had a dip. I matched everything on my dumbbell press, so no, it was a success. It was a good session. I think at this point, I'm just so keen to cling on to any strength that I have, because we are getting to that point where we're very depleted and we're pushing things very hard. So I want to try and make sure that I'm not losing muscle. And obviously, you know, your strength in the gym is the biggest indication about whether or not you are doing that. I have also found now that with my cardio being increased to 50 minutes, anytime I'm doing it post-workout, I'm going hypoglycemic at around half an hour in, which sucks. And I mentioned it in a previous video as well, but it's just consistently happening now. And after leg days, it's brutal. It's really bad. I'm still getting all my cardio done, but I'm having to take like 10 minutes and have something to eat in between segments of doing cardio. So I'm gonna try something out next session and see how it works, to see if I can work around it. so that I can get my 50 minutes done. Because I've noticed when I do it on rest days, I do it fasted and I have no issue. So there's clearly something with how I'm timing maybe my carb intake, or the fact that I'm very depleted after a session. Potentially I just need a little something in my body before I then go into cardio. Because it's very possible that with my muscle glycogen so depleted from the session, that once I get deep into my 50 minutes of cardio, it's possible that I'm also then depleting my liver of glycogen, and so my blood sugar is just going into absolute chaos. So I'm gonna try something next session and see how it goes. And the next video I have for you guys is going to be a shoulder session, which I'm really excited for because we haven't really done a shoulder session on the channel for a while now, and there's some pretty gnarly details starting to come through, so I'm very excited to share that with you guys. But until then guys, that is going to do it for this video. If you enjoyed this, drop a like, leave a comment down below, let me know what you thought of it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and ring that bell to turn on your notifications, and I'll see you next time.